All right, we're back today talking to you from Author Advocates. My name is Richard Robertson. Most of you who are watching this probably know that. But wanted to talk to you a little bit about traditional publishing and its contrast with self-publishing and where you might fit if you are a new author in that, in that spectrum. We talked about different kinds of self-publishing last time I talked to you. But I want to talk a little bit because every author, I've talked to literally thousands, probably tens of thousands of would-be authors over the last 10 years. And most of them say the same thing. Well, I want to be traditionally published. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, you feel like financially that's a better route for you. And if you are a famous author who gets a really big advance and sells a lot of books, then traditional publishing probably is the best route to go, although there are some well-known authors who are well-known enough that they've kind of cut the publisher out of the picture and they've self-published their stuff knowing that they can get their own deal or do their own thing and still make a bunch of money because everybody knows their name. They don't need the publisher to push their book. And the other reason people want traditional publishing is for validation. My book is good enough that somebody decided that they would publish me and not charge me, so I must be a good author. Here's the reality, and there are a lot of voices in this industry. We've already talked about that. The reality is people don't necessarily, in the grand scheme of publishing, not everybody is in it for the content or for how good the book is. People really want to make money, so they're going to publish what makes money. A good example of that, and this is not publishing, this is music, but it's similar. Everybody remembers, I think, and it's been a handful of years ago, the Dr. Phil episode with the Cash Me Outside girl, who was clearly crazy, but she was a kid. I'm not gonna. Maybe there was. I don't know all the issues. I'm not Dr. Phil. I'm not gonna solve her problems. But she didn't have any talent musically, yet she still got a mega deal from some, music company. They didn't care about her content. They didn't think she was good. They weren't trying to validate her. They were just trying to ride that subtle wave of popularity that she got, until it was over, and then that'll be it. So, and whether it's movies, TV, music, books, whatever, published content that people consume, the person publishing it primarily cares about how many of those things they're going to sell, how many downloads, how many hard copies, how many people show up to the theater, that kind of thing. So traditional publishing doesn't validate the quality of the project. Traditional publishing says that the publisher thinks he can sell enough of these to make a profit, whether it's good or not. And, we've all heard stories of books like The Shack that couldn't get traditionally published until the guy self-published and sold a bunch of copies. And a guy I worked with, Will Searle, same thing, had a great book, great content, had a hard time finding a traditional publisher until we self-published it. And then he got a 3-book deal from Thomas Nelson and did very well. So traditional publishing for most people, now I'm not saying that there's not going to be that one person who mails out a query, 1,000 query letters and gets a response and gets a book deal from a small publisher. It's possible. The mathematical chances are there that you can be traditionally published. I don't want to say that it is completely and totally irrelevant, but the mathematical chances of it happening are very, very slim. Most authors or most publishers want to see whether or not the author can sell books. Christopher Paolini, when he published his first book, they did that. They had to go publish it and printed a bunch of them, and then we sold. Obviously, it's one of my favorite series of all time. So don't get hung up on validation. You can validate yourself by selling a bunch of books. if you do it the right, if you publish the book the right way, whether it's with us or with somebody else, um, you can sell copies. And once you sell copies, you don't need anybody to tell you, that this book is good. The public has already decided that because they've purchased it. So um, don't hold out, you have to look at publishing a book kind of like a small business. And if you just have a great idea for a small business, but you're sitting at your house waiting for an angel investor to show up and do it for you, it'll probably never get done. But if you get out there and hustle yourself, then there's a possibility, that something can happen. So traditional publishing is kind of everybody's golden goose in this industry until you realize that, new authors don't get very big advances, if any. They don't get any marketing help. You get a pamphlet mailed to you or something like that to tell you how to market your own book. And when was the last time you saw a TV commercial or a cutout at Barnes & Noble about some unheard of brand new author? There is no huge amount of publisher assistance for the new guy, even if you are traditionally published. So I just wanted to kind of clear the air that traditional publishing, while awesome, and if you got a contract from a traditional publisher, we would, everybody would applaud you and tell you how great that is, because it is. But it's not the only path to either commercial success or, having a lot of people read your material, which is what I'm most interested in, is finding good content and getting it into the hands of people who want to read it. Because I think there's a void in this industry for good content into the hands of people who want to read good content. So if you have any other questions on traditional publishing, certainly let us know. We'd love to be able to help. You can check out our Facebook page, our website, Author Advocates 1, the number 1, Author Advocates, the number 1.com. We have a YouTube channel. Obviously, you're watching this video. Twitter page, however you want to get in contact with us, we should be available to you, and I'd love to be able to help. Thanks. Bye.